Hello friends, I'm Christopher. This video is all about Mow May. It's our first time participating in it. I'm going to talk about the pros, the cons, what we observed, what we might do different, etc. So if you're interested in that, stick around. So first, a little history. Mow May in our area started a couple years ago in the city of Appleton, just a bit north of here. They had 400 or so families register. They collected data for a month, which included, at the end of the month, I think, going out and actually doing some bee counts and comparing them with control yards. And what they found, this professor, what was his name? Del Toro, Israel Del Toro, found that there was a notable percentage increase in pollinators in the yards that were left to grow for those natural flowers, the dandelions, the clover, the creeping Charlie, any wildflowers they had in the yard, etc., to provide an early forage for the bees, right? So that was the natural impetus for this. It was pretty, well regarded in Appleton. So it probably would have come to Oshkosh last year, but then pandemic, whatever. Then it did happen this year, but it seemed kind of spur of the moment. We found out in the middle of April that it was going to be a thing. So it was a knee-jerk reaction for me to participate. In Oshkosh, where I live, usually you are not allowed to have your yard grow more than 8 inches tall before the city will send you a notice, and then you have a week to get a cut. And if you don't, they'll send you another notice saying, we're going to cut it. And then, you get a cut, and then you have to pay the city for it. I think the month of May is usually like $7,000 the municipality gets in revenue. I remember reading that vaguely once. All off the top of my head, but I think it's true. Where am I going with this? So we know in Mow May, those rules are suspended. They're suspended for us this year through June 7th. You can see behind me, I'm filming this after I had done my final cut. And so I'm not going to be getting fined or anything, but let's just dive right in and I'll start waffling. We'll come back at the end with more pros and cons. So as I get started, I'm just going to use up the end of this bag and I'm going to overseed some of my backyard. I'm going to do my seeding before I do my cutting because I'm not using a rotary mower, I'm using a reel mower. So it's just going to chop the grass on top of the seeds, which will provide a little bit of extra cover, right? So what I have been doing for the past year since I got my Fisker's reel mower, Stay Sharp Max, whatever, I've been keeping the length at about 1.5 inches, and I like that. But after this Mow May, I want to raise it up to 2 inches because I like a nice lush yard, and I think the higher your grass is, the more it'll squash out weeds. I don't know. Whatever. One last mow here on the 30th of April, and then we'll watch it grow. And then one final touch. Nice little sign. We'll see how long this lasts, if anybody walks away with it, or what the neighbors say. Well, it's May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. And already some of the grass seed that we put down is coming in on the spot where we ground out an old tree stump. I'd also be remiss if I didn't mention all the dandelions that we can see, but they're beautiful. Lots of dandelions, and I also like these sweet little purple flowers on the, I don't know if that's not creeping Charlie, that's something. We are 9 days into Mow May, and one of the things that I've noticed is an increasing amount of birds in the yard. Obviously we have a male cardinal there who just went off, and other finches in particular. I don't know if they're getting worms or other bugs that are just kind of feeling more at home with more vertical space in the grass or what, but more birds crawling around in the grass, jumping. Here we are on the 15th of the month, and this is by far the thickest part of the grass in our backyard. Let's just bring you down for perspective. Grass is anywhere from 3 to maybe 7 inches, and some of those spots like that. Lots of dandelions, lots of these lovely purple flowers from the Creepin' Charlie. I don't know necessarily that I've seen a whole lot of pollinators, but I guess I haven't been out to look for them intensely. What I have seen are more animals, a lot more rabbits, in particular a lot more birds jumping around, which I think is funny. You see here we have an animal that got stuck in the grass. What do you think about the grass, Moose? Is it nice? He's a good boy. Yeah. The backyard was there where I just came from. I did want to point out this section right here. It's actually pretty nice. These are, well, we've got a lot of clover, but we've got these flowers from, I don't know, is this from the clover or from Charlie? It's hard, I don't know. I just don't know enough about grass. Either way, we do have a big section of clover here, which you can see, and it is coming up nicely, intermixed with these flowers. And over here I do see a lot of pollinators. So that is one nice thing. Here's another perk of No Mow May. We've got all of these dandelions to blow. Get a good one. Oh! So it's the 25th of May. We're near an end here, and I wanted to take you for a little tour of the backyard. It's where the grass is the longest, and I don't think the grass itself is going to get any longer, or the weeds. But here's some perspective. Dive, dive. Moose for scale. Oh. Hi, scary dog. Moose, can you sit? Moose, down. And there's Moose to scale. You can see the grass is almost as tall as his head. He sure enjoys laying in it. So do the bunnies. The birds don't lay in it anymore because, it's just too tall, I guess, for them. And I have to admit, I haven't really seen much for bees, which I'm kind of surprised by. A moose lay here. As the grass continues to grow and grow and grow, the bunnies love the extra habitat. It's taller than them. He was just snacking on some grass. This is a little one. One positive in favor of No Mow May is this whole area, which was nothing but dirt. So I had some major reseeding to do, and aside from the spots where I had rocks sitting, and some little things, there was also like rock. Look at that. That all came in. Wave hi, Charlotte. Hi. Let's open up this next one. Ready? Let's see if it's all dirt underneath here, or if this took two. Watch out, laddie. Here we go. We're gonna pull it. And oh, I ripped it. How about that? Pretty good. So again, this was all just dirt. Looks like here there's a section, maybe that was pressing on the ground from something or another. But overall, look at that. Where you see the shadow of the tree, the drip line, most of that was dirt. And now most of that's grass. So I guess that's one benefit for... I will hunt for Koroks with you in just a moment. I think that's one of the benefits of No Mow May is you can let your grass grow and be crazy because, you're just letting it grow anyways. So you might as well throw down some seed and let it do its thing. Anyways, I'm just rambling. There's a pro. Now I have to hunt for Koroks. Well, friends, today is the 29th of May, and this is going to be my last day for No Mow May. We've got rain in the forecast the next 2 days, and I want to get this cut and bagged because the first pickup day of the month in my city, they come around and they collect yard refuse, and I think I'm going to fill up a couple bags of grass. So, figured this has been good enough of a month. Grass really isn't growing anymore, and I think if the pollinators were doing their thing, they're done with it now. The dandelions are closed. All the other little flowers are. So let's just call this project quits. I was wrong. They're doing their thing all along, and the grass is just so long, can't even see them. So now that that's all done and the yard is cut, let's talk about the pros and cons based off of my own observations. Pros. I loved seeing more birds running around, jumping around in my yard. I loved seeing more rabbits jumping around in my yard. I loved watching my crazy dog lay in the super tall grass and be nice and cool on some of these super hot days that we had abnormally in the month of May. I liked actually seeing the pollinators. I saw, let's say, 2 waves of them early when the grass was still pretty short, maybe the first 10 days of May. In particular, in my side yard where I have a lot of clover and dandelions, which is conveniently right next to my garden. So that's good. You know, if No Mow May is for the bees, we wanted to have that forage for the bees. I saw a few of them in the end. I think you got one good clip of me mowing the lawn, then I stopped, and then, oh yeah, there's a bumblebee just doing its thing in the forage. Near the end of the month, I just couldn't see them. I think it's because the grass was over a foot tall and they were just buzzing in between. So they were there, even if I didn't distinctly see them to the end. And that is a pro, right? We want to increase forage for the bees. And I believe that I did. I certainly let my dandelions go. By the end of this, there were no open dandelions. In fact, it was just the heads popping up. All the seeds had blown away. Whatever, that's fine. I liked seeing the diversity in color in the yard. That was pretty great, seeing yellows and purples and whites, not just green grass, and of course shades of green too. And I guess another huge pro for me had nothing to do with the pollinators, but because I overseeded before this all started, I had nice, thick, lush grass. That's pretty new for me. Also new to me is keeping the grass long. Usually I cut it at 1.5 inches. I jacked it up to the max setting on this mower, which is 4 inches. It'll be the same on my Fisker's real mower too, but I'm going to keep it at that 4-inch mark. Prior to doing this No Mow May and overseeding, if I kept it that high, it would just fall down, nothing supporting it. But now we've had all that germination of these new seeds, so it's a lot thicker, so it can maintain that verticality. And it's really plush. It's super soft, it's springy, it looks beautiful, and having that tall grass moving forward into the summer will keep it healthier because it's less likely to dry out and turn yellow and brown. So that was an added benefit of No Mow May. Plus, I got to do this fun video and talk about it with people. You know, there were people that would go by, lots of people commenting on this sign, and I tend to sit out in front a lot, or I'm in my garden, and if they would bring it up, I would talk with them about it. I saw a huge uptick in people in my neighborhood. There are, of course, a few like lazy rental properties that just never mow, but there were way more people just like me, either with or without signs in the yard, but with nice houses that usually have a well-maintained yard, letting it grow this month. So there was an uptick in interested parties, which I thought was cool. Now I can't wait for all those lawns to be mowed as we move forward. What are the cons? Yeah, some yards look pretty bad, mine included for some time there. That made me personally feel awkward because it was out of my comfort zone. I like having a well manicured lawn. I don't do fertilizer and stuff for it, but I do mow regularly. I mow like every 4 or 5 days. It's a fun hobby for me. It looks nice, smells nice, it gives me a little exercise, etc. So I did not like letting go of that, if you get my drift. I guess another con is the negative feelings in town. While plenty of people like me did enjoy talking about it, there were a lot of people on like our Facebook pages, community Facebook pages, who were just complaining about it and just full of hate. And I mean, I get it, especially if your neighbor you never talk to, or you don't understand the principle behind increasing the forage for pollinators. You just don't like the looks of an ugly yard. That can be tough. So this was definitely controversial, like I've said. I hope if the city continues to do this, that people get more education. That's definitely needed. In terms of like talking about this in the newspaper or things more than just a week or two in advance, like I said, it seemed like a knee-jerk thing this year. If we do it again as a city, I hope there's more communication on why it's important and what you need to do to participate. Like, I didn't see anything saying that you had to have a sign. I picked this sign up because I saw it on Facebook, maybe Instagram, saying, hey, you look at these great signs that they have at the Fast Print on Jackson Street. So I went and I picked one up. I think in the future, if people are going to participate, they should be required to have a sign, right? That'll, I think, reduce the complaining that I see of people thinking, oh, everybody's just lazy, what's going on? It might also be nice for data collection. If somebody from the city or maybe another university professor wants to come identify some houses and do pollinator counts, if that's a thing. I don't know. The signage is going to be important. I guess the cleanup is another con. Usually it takes me less than an hour to mow my lawn. Cleanup from this took me over 2 hours, maybe 2 hours, 15 minutes, because I had to mow slowly. I had my lawnmower up to the highest setting and I was bagging. I filled up 5.5 bags with grass, and you can't run over the lawn. You have to go slowly, in order to pick all that up. And sometimes you would go forward and then come back and forward and back. So the process took a little bit longer, but I suppose you make up for it by not mowing half a dozen times throughout the month, right? That's where that time savings is. Another con could be the timing for weed management. I have a friend, Jason Seberlik, who runs Our Lawn, a YouTube channel, and he's all about yard maintenance and care. And he was saying that this is really a good month to put down your pre-emergent and prevent the weeds from really getting going this season. And I didn't do that, as I was letting things grow and not putting stuff down. So maybe I inadvertently let more weeds grow. Could be. I'm hoping that in the long run I'm squashing them out by letting the grass grow longer. And hopefully anything like seeds that are flying around in the air, they won't have the ability to fully reach the ground because they'll get caught in the long grass. I don't know. That's just a hypothesis at this point, but that could be seen as a con. Overall, great experience. I'm glad I did it. And right now, I think I'm going to do it next year. So here's me from a couple days ago with the outro. Well, that's it for No Mow May. Hopefully I've explained to you the pros and cons as I see them, as I squat here in the nicest part of my yard with the most lush looking grass. It sure is thicker now than it was before. It's taller and it's more dense and it looks beautiful. It was a good experience, and I do recommend you try it if you think it's right for you. So let me know in the comments if you've done this, what you think of it. I know it's pretty polarizing here. And if you give it a go, good luck. If you like this video, you know what to do. Until next time, happy gardening. Bye.